Good evening and welcome, folks, to the JRPG Report. This is going to be episode 144. How are you all doing? Let me be a little bit early and wish you all a Merry Christmas. As of today's recording, we're about, fuzzy math, 9 days off of until Christmas, and things are getting quite festive around here. It's a little bit different this year, so all the more reason to have a wonderful holiday season, no matter where you are or how you celebrate. We've got a jam-packed, huge show. If you could tell from the release date, this is actually Wednesday night as opposed to our normal Thursday release window. I got some stuff going on tomorrow, so I really don't have time to record. Had some time this evening, and I just could not wait to share all the things that have popped up in this past week. It has been really exciting, and I cannot wait to tell you about everything that's gone on. There's been three big things that I want to talk with you about, but I got to start with what popped off today. I thought we would hear a little bit more about this coming up on Falcom Day 2020 Winter, which is coming up on the 20th of December. And that wasn't going to happen. The latest issue of Weekly Famitsu magazine had a 5-page interview with Falcom president Toshihiro Kondo, and he shared some interesting tidbits. Mostly it is about the new Legend of Heroes game. So we're playing Trails of Cold Steel 4 here in the West. Japan has Hajibari no Kaseki, Trails of the Beginning. That is already out. We will hopefully get that, I would say, towards the end of 2021. Well, we're already talking about the game after that, and that is the sad reality of these long Japanese games that we love so much, is sometimes it takes a while, and they're already talking about the next one. It is called The Legend of Heroes Kuro no Kaseki. That is Trails of Black, the latest entry in the Kaseki or Trails of series, and they are hoping to launch it in 2021 in Japan, so it certainly sounds like a strong possibility they will have the next game before we have the previous one. Yet again, platforms were not announced with that release date. You have to imagine this is going to be I would say this is going to be developed for PlayStation 4. I got to be honest. And with PS5 support, I may be wrong, but it seems like with it coming out so soon in Japan that they've been working on this for a while, and it is a PlayStation 4 game at its heart. We do know that it's a new engine, but that doesn't mean they can't just port that engine over to PS5 and make a nice looking product where Hajimari will have PS5 support as well. So let's get into the tidbits. As speculated, this game is going to be set in the Republic of Calvard, which is on the eastern side of the continent. It will be in the Septarian year of 1208. I didn't have time to do my homework to figure out what that is in terms of the overall timeline. I think that just means it's in order after Hajimari, after the events of Cold Steel and all that goes on in that. Good grief. Okay, so the title is derived from the Japanese word meaning daybreak. This is reflected in the colors associated with the protagonist. The story is focused on characters who can be described as somewhat in the gray zone of society, i.e. a detective, negotiator, bounty hunter, all those all those fun professions that people get to go in the shadier side of town. He mentioned that it would have been nice if Hajimari no Kaseki was indeed entitled Shiro no Kaseki, Tales of White, which would complement this Trails of Black, rather. I gotta get my tails and trails all straight. The game engine is all brand new. Can't wait to see how that looks. The character modeling has evolved, he says. There is a significantly different feel when the character is in motion. I'm looking forward to that. The movement of the characters is clunky at a lot of times. Honestly, they look better when they run than when they walk. It can be a little weird, just overall, not very natural looking. Calvard is a cultural sphere in the vein of Eastern Europe, with an influx of people from the Middle East. It feels like a mixture of Europe and Asia, and it is somewhat small compared to the vastness of Arebonia. The scale of the map is equivalent to that of a Cold Steel title, but while still in development, Kondo believes it will be very close in terms of that size. Now, we don't know what this means, but he says an additional episode in Hajimari no Koseki entitled Hajimari no Saki-e acts as a prologue to Kuro no Koseki. So there's an episode in the new game which is going to act as a prologue to this next game. I know this is a lot to kind of take in. I'm still kind of getting through it all as well. 90% in Trails of Black of the characters are new. He said if you did not know any better, you might look at the game screen and not realize it's a Trails game. The remaining 10% of the cast will be characters that are highly anticipated by fans. So, Trails of the Sky fans, you know where they're going with this one. We've been saying they're going to Calvard for a while. And so that means we are getting 10%, right? So we're getting Zen, we're getting Kilika, and I'm guessing we're getting Walter. As he pointed out in, fans would be disappointed if the society was not also depicted. So you have to imagine that as one branch of a previous story that they're finally going to address and try to resolve. If you've not played Sky, you don't know what I'm talking about. You don't know why these characters would be finally welcome to be seen and what is going to go down. But it does sound like we're finally getting a new awesome cast of characters, having Cold Steel bring together all the previous series into one. I kind of am glad that we're getting some new ones. Obviously, there's some new ones introduced in Hajimari as well, but kind of a fresh start. And while wrapping up a few loose ends in Calvard that we've been waiting a long time to see. The 3 characters that have been revealed so far, and I still can't find a super great image for this. I do apologize, but it's kind of frustrating to me as well. A Kirito-looking character, a dual-wielding redhead character with a Middle Eastern appearance, and a character that looks like Elisa, minus the attitude, and these are just their words, with the chest of Ryza. Kondo would not say which one is the protagonist, although it is obvious if you recall the earlier note about the protagonist's associated colors, which are, what does it say? Where did it go? Did I not read that part? Yes. Daybreak. That is they're reflected in the colors associated with the protagonist. So once I could find that image, I could tell you which one it looks like. The game will have a proper ending. If the game does not sell well, there will not be a sequel, and the Trail series is no exception. The amount of content in the game is about equal to a Cold Steel title. The Trails of Cold Steel games had a large number of allies. However, this one will not, due to the protagonist's line of work. Instead, there will be more enemies. He said there will not be 50 playable characters, so no more Hajimari or certain parts of some of the Cold Steel games. There's a large number of them. There is a screenshot of a battle scene. Again, I can't find that anywhere, so I'm not sure what they're talking about. I would love to see that. Movement in battles are seamless. Remember, we hinted at a bit of this a while ago, that there was going to be some changes in store. So let's read, and we'll kind of see what we can make of it. While action elements have been added, Falcom is not considering anything that requires any sort of input skills, i.e., I guess combos and whatnot. Commands are input in real time instead of pausing. Again, to me, that kind of sounds like what Ryza does, whereas it is still turn-based. It's not stopping the action like the Cold Steel games, but it does say you will have the option to switch to command style battles. So maybe there's some sort of turn-based option in there as well. We're going to need to see this in action. We're going to need a lot more information before I can make too much of a determination on how far they're straying from the formula. Arts and crafts remain as they were, but the Arcus units have been replaced by, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Xipha. So Zypha? Not sure. Isphia? I don't know. Obviously, it's in a new country, so there would be new technology. There would not be Arcus units, so that kind of makes sense. Although I do imagine it would be very similar. There are no combat links or brave orders, so you don't have to worry about those anymore, although I have gotten quite used to them. And combat links have been in there for a long time. There's a new system in place that is said to be quite amazing, though, so maybe we're evolving the series a little bit. There is a topic system that has to do with conversation with NPCs. Alignment Flame, quote unquote, is a system in which, depending on your playstyle, your character's alignment as either lawful, gray, or chaotic will change. Influence your status as well as the story, but there will not be any situation where an event does not occur due to your specific alignment. There is an alternative to bond events. Sorry about that. Forgot to silence my phone. As for platforms, Kondo said we like releases on PlayStation 4 as well as other platforms where there is demand. He said, since there are the usual technical challenges, we will consider starting where there is the most demand. Nahum Falcom, as a whole, is making preparations to support PlayStation 5. Obviously, though, not quite yet. I mean, this is a PlayStation 4 game. It's clear to say that's the largest install base. This is coming out next year. Well, almost this year. I mean, we've only got 15 days left in the year, so I would imagine it's probably a fall title if things go well. How hard it is to make a PlayStation 5 version, not known at this time. So that's everything that we know from this interview. There's a lot there. I kind of tried to talk things as we went through them. I think we may see this one and actually get those images at the what do they call that? The winter Falcom Day 2020 winter. That's December the 20th. So maybe we'll actually see something. Obviously, this was a magazine interview, so there's only so much out there as this was all being translated over and finally in our hands today. What do you guys think? I kind of am glad that I feel like I can at least talk about this game without massive spoilers. Like, I mean, Hajimari, I could only talk about in concept only. Really couldn't get into too many details just because the nature of that one. So I am glad I can at least talk about this one. It's a ways away, but it is exciting to see where this series is going. I hope they don't change what makes Trails so special to me, and I don't think they will, but I do have some pause with some of those changes. I need to see a lot more before making any sort of big determination. But yeah, big bombshell to throw out there to start today's episode, and we've got a few more big ones to talk about before we get to the smaller stuff here on episode 144. The Legend of Heroes or Trails news didn't stop there, and there was at least some confusion with, I didn't know what this was at all. Falcom released a PlayStation 4 version of Naoto no Gazeki. They're adding a Kai to the end of it, and it will come out summer 2021 in Japan. The latest issue of Weekly Famitsu revealed as well. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they got 2 Legend of Heroes games coming out in Japan in 1 year. And that's because this is an action RPG, which first came out back on the PSP in Japan of July 2012. And while it is also a Kaseki or Trails game, it does not have the Legend of Heroes pre-title in it. I saw kind of an old play version of it. Nothing to write home about. Obviously, we're talking about a game that's 8 years old at this point, and hopefully this new version will look a lot better. It says it will feature high definition visuals, obviously enhanced visuals, user interface adjustments, and new event visuals. Kind of just look like a pretty standard action RPG, not even up to like the Ys quality. So I don't think this is something we really need to worry about. I'm just reporting the news, as I kind of doubt this one is coming over. If you are waiting for that PC version and or Switch version of Cold Steel 4, I at least have a little bit of news to tell you, and that is there is a Japanese date for the version of it, and that is March the 18th. Come out for Switch and PC on that day. This was revealed in the latest issue of Weekly Famitsu. It includes a large number of previously released downloadable content you can pick up for free. No word on the Western release of those versions, although I'd have to imagine it's going to be pretty close. We saw that recently with a couple games, so I would dare say you could look to see this one coming out right around that same time. I will wait for complete confirmation before sticking to that, but I would say that's a pretty good indicator for that being a worldwide release as well. That tends to be what goes on, is when the Japanese PC version comes out, it also then comes out for the rest of the world. So you can start at least trying to look forward to getting your End of Saga at that point. They're just saying Switch and PC versions due out in 2021 in the West, but hopefully that's what will happen. That's all the Legend of Heroes news I have for you guys. That's quite a bit, I know. And next, I want to focus, like I said, there was 3 big JRPG stories. This was number 2. We got the Grand Blue Fantasy Fest 2020. When did that happen? 4 days ago, right? And I shared this, of course, on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Finally, we got that update for Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. May not be what you were looking for, but they at least have a release date, sort of. If this game was highly anticipated, I wanted to be playing it by now. I put it on my 2020 most anticipated list. Well, it's not 2020, and it's not 2021 either. The only thing they're committing to is this game is going to come out in 2022. It did at least feature some new gameplay. It was about 23 minutes of that. I clipped that for you guys from the live stream. So this live stream was 6 hours long. Is that right? The first day, yeah, the day 1 of it was over 6 hours long. So 6 hours and 16 minutes into it, they finally showed this new gameplay. It looks really good. I am impressed by it. It is exactly what I thought it would be. Showed a completely new section of the game and some gameplay, so you'll want to check that out whenever you get a chance. They are not moving this to PlayStation 5, but there is a PlayStation 5 version going to be available. Not surprised whatsoever. So developer Cygames is still working very, very hard at this. The gameplay demo showcased the protagonist Gran and Digita, I guess that's how you say this person's name. The equipment, abilities, party formation, and a really cool airship stage and boss battle. That's one of the things I'm most looking forward to. The airships really look to play a key role in this game, and it definitely has an early Final Fantasy feel to it in that way. Obviously not the combat, but it kind of reminds me of that medieval fantasy, otherworldly but not high-tech feel to it. And I love that stuff. It really makes me feel like a kid all over again. They are saying this game is currently in the alpha version of it, which means various features and resources are either unfinished or using temporary assets, but the game in its entirety is generally in a playable state. They need to go to beta version next, obviously, and then the master release, which would be the final development. They gave a really detailed presentation as well with this game. They said, refine the game's engine began at the start of 2020, and it was scheduled to be finished, the engine of it, by August, which they did. Begin development on all parts of the game based on final documentation to be shown in 2020. Finalized development schedule to include PlayStation 5 support and begin the main phase of development. They say that we are currently nearing the final stages of development and going all in on asset creation. I want you to keep that in mind. Let me read it to you again. We are currently nearing the final stages of development and going all in on asset creation. This is December of 2020, and they are at least a full year away from release, if not more than that, saying in 2022. Are you guys still looking forward to this one? Obviously, it's going to be a while. I definitely invite you guys to check that out over on our JRPG Report YouTube channel and let me know what you think in the comments below the video. If you are like, oh, this looks great, or it's kind of off my radar for a little bit of time. So I say that because the third big thing, and this happened during the Tales of Series 25th anniversary special live stream, was an update on Tales of Arise. And it wasn't much of an update, guys. Here is a full message from general producer Yusuke Tomizawa. And I guess I could read this whole thing to you. Today, we won't be able to share new information on our new title for consoles. Development has been underway with all that's going on in 2020. But years passed since we've been able to share new information. So I'd like to apologize to everyone again as the new year approaches. To the extent that we were quiet in 2020, we're making preparations to share all sorts of new info in 2021. Development is going very well. So I hope you can hold out a little bit long for new info. We're preparing all sorts of wonderful news that Tales of fans around the world can get excited about. So keep us in mind. There you go. He is saying that this is the 25th anniversary of the Tales of franchise, and he's kind of saying that's somehow a 2-year window, and that 2020 was year one, and it was quiet, and 2021 is going to blow that out of the water. Well, I would certainly hope so, pal, because you didn't do anything other than that 2 or 3 second clip during that Namco Bandai little promotional thing. Said I wasn't able to get into details, that they're supporting, giving their support, blah, blah, blah. That was a big nothing burger from Tomizawa. These people showed up or tuned in to the Tales of thing looking for something, and he gave them an apology. What was really interesting, because this was back yesterday on the 15th, right? Later that day, the weekly Famitsu dropped, and there was some comments in that. I guess they had to wait till the live stream went live. So, again, reiterated there was more news coming, but that development is currently in its final stages. It's hard to improve work. Staff is working hard. Obviously, COVID-19 played a big part in all this. Although they are aiming for a level of quality that could be acceptable worldwide, the game will not neglect its Japanese fans. They're aiming to create a JRPG that both Japan and the world can be proud of. So he made that statement that we just heard a second ago. Development is currently in its final stages. How is that? Exactly. I hate to kind of not believe what he's saying, but we just heard that Grand Blue Fantasy Ring is in its final stages of development as well. And it's not coming out to 2022. So if this is to be believed at face value, I believe it's the same situation. That it may be in its final stages, but we probably won't get this game until 2022 as well. I would love to be proven otherwise. We got a 23-minute demo for Grand Blue, right? We didn't get anything. We didn't get a screenshot for Tales of Arise. I think they're still waiting to even show us something, and all they were saying is that they're going to share information in 2021. They didn't even go as far as say it was coming out then. They didn't give a release date at all. So to me, when you say development is in its final stages, that implies a release at a year point in time, not up to 2 years away. So that was a little irksome when I read that. I got to be honest. I was expecting to get something, and I think Tales of fans were also expecting to get something at this Tales of live stream. And while I am speaking on that, I'm going to piggyback to two other things that were at the Tales of live stream as well. So before, in the months prior, Tales fans had a chance to participate in some surveys of their most played titles, favorite theme songs, and this series' battle systems. They were going to rank those, and they were going to show the results of this during the live stream. This happened for a couple of weeks between November 6th and the 24th. What do you think was the most played game? Now keep in mind this is Japanese audience, it's not worldwide. So I'll go ahead and just give you the top 5. Number 1, Tales of the Abyss. Number 2 was Vesperia. 3, Symphonia. 4, Exilia. And 5 was Grace's F. Then Berseria and Exilia 2 rounding it out. Most played, right? I guess that is the one that, okay, I get it. They're saying, what game have you played? And that was the top 15 answers that got the most votes, right? Most memorable theme song was Karma by Bump of Chicken in Tales of the Abyss. Number 2, Starry Heavens from Symphonia. So it's some pretty good stuff on there. So what's your favorite battle system out of the Tales games? I think there's a lot of different answers, but according to this, it was Grace's. Okay, not my favorite one, but it was a decent one. Vesperia number 2, Abyss 3, Berseria 4, Exilia 2 came in at 5, and I didn't really care for it as much. But yeah, so it sounds like Tales of the Abyss, as the most played Tales game, might be Japan's favorite, right? Also, coinciding with this is the release of a new Tales of Abyss statue that's got both Luke and Ash on it. It'll set you back a cool $250 at a 1/8 scale. But it looks pretty good. If you've not played Tales of the Abyss and you've seen Luke's original character art, you may wonder why he looks like that. But you got to play these games. I mean, they've been out for a while. I don't know what they did announce at this Tales of Festival other than survey results and not talking about Tales of Arise. Certainly what they did not do, as I just pointed out, so Abyss seems to be the most popular game in Japan. This was also its 10th anniversary. What better way to say to fans, you got a statue coming out, we've got these survey results, let's announce a remaster, right? No, nothing. I don't know what they announced, but it wasn't an HD remaster of Abyss. I would love to see that. I'm going to speak very selfishly and personally. That's my favorite Tales game, and it would have been the perfect time to just announce it, that they're working on it, right? Hey, it's the 10th anniversary. We know you guys love this game. We're going to get in there and do it. I know you're waiting for Abyss. Or not Abyss, but for Arise. We can pump this thing out in this next year and give you guys something to play for. No, nothing. If it was, I've not seen anything on it, and I think that would have made the news pretty big. We heard everything else from the Tales of Festival. That wasn't it. So kind of a little disappointed right there. I got to be honest. A whole lot of disappointment coming out of Bandai Namco for this Tales Fest. After such a hard year, I think fans really could have used something to kind of pump them up, and at least they're not getting it from that route. But we got some more things to kind of pump ourselves back up. We got lots to look forward to, and we'll talk about a few more of those things here in just one moment. The biggest event in the gaming world last week was the Game Awards show, and there was a decent amount of stuff that came out of it, JRPG related. Obviously, you guys have probably learned about the Game of the Year stuff that they did and all that jazz, but that's not really what you guys are here for. That's old news. They did have a new trailer for Monster Hunter Rise during the show. They announced there will be a special demo coming out for it on the eShop in January of 2021 to go along with this new trailer, which shows off a bunch of stuff. By the way, we've talked a lot about Weekly Famitsu. They always do a most anticipated game top, I think, 40 list, voted on by the fans. And for a long time, it has been Tales of Arise. That changed this past week before the Tales of Festival. Now and it slipped to number 2, but now number 1 is Monster Hunter Rise. Not surprisingly, to be quite honest, as the Monster Hunter series is huge in Japan. So if you want to check out that new trailer from the Game Awards show, well, I'm pretty sure you know where to head to. You can read a lot more about it as well over on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Don't forget to give us a like and follow there. And head over to our YouTube channel. Give us a subscription. You can check that trailer out as well as 1, 2, 3. So there was actually 6 videos that have come out in the past couple days about the various weapon classes for Monster Hunter Rise. Each day they released 2, and I thought, well, I bet people really don't want to watch a 1-minute video. So I will put them together into a 2-minute video and save you a click, right? So let's see, what was day 1? I don't know the order of these, but yeah, one day it was dual blades and the bow. So that is one video. Another day it was, where am I at? The lance and the long sword. Pretty cool stuff. And then today, if you want to go with the either light or heavy bowgun variants, you can check those out and how it would try out. You can watch these videos and try to decide what weapon class best suits you. You got a little ways to go until this one comes out. Worldwide release on the Switch on March the 26th. And again, limited time demo is due sometime out in January. We have a Western, that was a release date for this. Maybe I was wrong. The 2 new Virtual Stars will launch for PC in addition to PlayStation 4, whenever that happens in the West, in 2021, publisher Idea Factory International announced. Both versions will feature Japanese voiceovers only with English subtitles. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Dalton, there was a beta announced for it, and I believe you were able to sign up for that. So if you are also interested, there is a link in one of the stories I shared on our Facebook or Twitter page, and you can check that out if you are looking to get in on the beta for Neptunia Virtual Stars. Sega will host a PC closed beta for Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis in Japan from late January 2021 to early February. There are 2 closed betas announced. You can sign up for that if you know your Japanese. I'm assuming they're going to come over here in the West as well. Coming to Xbox Game Pass, there's going to be some new games for JRPG lovers. First up is going to be on December 17th. So tomorrow you can play Code Vein. It seems like every week we're talking about a new JRPG being added to Game Pass. And then starting next year, you got Yakuza Remastered Collection on January the 28th, and Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, on March 25th. Both these games are available currently for PlayStation 4, but they are making their way to Xbox. Both of these titles will be available for sale and on Xbox Game Pass. Also at the Game Awards, we got a new trailer for Scarlet Nexus. You can check out the Game Awards trailer on our YouTube channel, as well as all the information about it. But they did announce that a release window for this one, at least, is going to be summer of 2021. It will launch for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. All at the same time, sometime in summer 2021. As soon as I hear a firm release date, I'll pass it along to you. But they were happy to announce that at the Game Awards. Just yesterday, we got some more information about the game, including the game's world, dual protagonists, the characters Arishi, Shiden, Koka, Kaguro, Naomi, and the colon Travers. There's a quite lengthy article, but it's not a ton of info, to be quite honest with you. But there are a lot of images that go along with it, so it would be best if you kind of check it out on your own and read it along with the images, so it makes a little bit more sense. Like, some things translate well to podcasts and talking about images, not as much. That's why I always invite you guys over to our YouTube and social media channels, so you can check them out on your own at your leisure and let you know kind of what you think about it. One thing we were definitely looking forward to at the Game Awards was a new trailer for Nier Replicant, and indeed, they did show it off. I can't really describe that one to you. You should definitely check it out on our YouTube channel. The game looks incredible, and it is every bit what I was expecting, if that makes sense. They've definitely taken a page from Automata. Obviously, this game was set the stage for that, and you can see a lot of it. I don't know what I was expecting, and I'm very happy of what I saw. It is just as frantic at times, if not maybe more so at times, with the amount of... the game defies explanation. It's one of those ones you really got to experience to understand, as at times it looks like a action RPG bullet hell game. It's really hard else to describe it any other way, and you kind of just got to experience it. It's so crazy and so good. Definitely go out there and get Automata, and then you'll be able to check this one out and really appreciate it. It's one of those ones I'm definitely looking forward to when it comes out on April 23rd worldwide. We'll get it here. Japan gets it a day earlier. The other thing, I think, this is the last one to come out of the Game Awards, and we got a new gameplay trailer for Ruined King, a League of Legends story. Yes, I know, not JRPG. But we've talked about it a few times before. It does have my beloved turn-based battle system in there. Also, it's Airship Syndicate, who made Battle Chasers Night War, which I really love. And they copied the game. They copied almost everything when they made this game and just put different assets in there. And maybe that's not a bad thing necessarily. When you look at the battle screen, when you look at the exploration, it literally looks like they just took League of Legends people and threw it into Battle Chasers. Maybe they zoomed the camera out a little bit. Okay, like I said, I like that game, so I'm kind of looking forward to this one. But I wasn't expecting exactly the same thing. Maybe that changes because while we did finally get an actual look at the gameplay for the game, the next day, I think, it was originally supposed to come out in early 2021. It has now been delayed to just a general 2021 release date. Again, not surprised by that. I think we might have reported on that last week, but yeah, so we finally got a look at it. Looked really good, and imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery, right? Well, that is flattery, all right. In a surprise announcement at the Game Awards, and this is not a JRPG, I know it's not, but Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will be getting a one-winged angel. Sephiroth is coming as a downloadable content character. He made a grand entrance there. I was stunned when I saw it. I don't play Smash, so I really don't really care too much, but he's certainly a welcome addition to that lineup, and looks to make the. I mean, how do you beat him, right? That would certainly be a very strong character to try to go against. Two Saga game announcements. The collection of Saga is out now. You can get a quick peek at all three of those games involved with a launch trailer that came out just the other day. You can look at that on the YouTube channel. Of course, that means it is the first Final Fantasy Legend, Legend 2, and 3, as they are called. Square Enix's collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend is now available on the Nintendo Switch. So you can check that out. Some old school games. That's how it used to be back on the old Game Boy. Also, we got 10 to 11 minutes of gameplay for the recently announced Saga Frontier Remastered. This was during the Saga 30th Anniversary Finale live stream. You got a short look at 3 of the game's 8 protagonists. Fuse, Red, and Acilius. I believe that's how you say their name. It's, the live stream was about 2 hours long, so I snipped those gameplay segments out and put them over on YouTube for you guys to check out. Saga Frontier Remastered is due out for PlayStation 4, Switch, PC, iOS, and Android sometime in summer 2021 worldwide. It was revealed, though, that the progress is nearly complete and final adjustments are underway, which could never hear about something like this. It could actually mean possibility of the game releasing before the summer. That's always good news. We are talking about a remaster of an old game, so there's not some of the problems that might be coming along to it. We had good news about the other new Nier game coming out, Replicant, but the mobile version, Nier Reincarnation, it had a 2020 release window. There's 2 weeks left. It's not going to make it. It has now been pushed back to Japan the first half of 2021. This is a mobile game for iOS and Android devices. I would dare say worldwide, you're probably looking at later 2021 now for that one if you've been looking forward to it. One last quick thing. Compile Heart will release the RPG Death End Request for Switch on the Nintendo eShop the day before Christmas in Japan, developer announced. This game is already available on PlayStation 4. We heard a rumor about the Switch version, and then it finally did get a release date for it, and it is coming very, very soon. No word on a Western release for the Switch yet, but we may get that sooner or later. That's going to do it. That's all I got for episode 144. It's been a lot of fun this week, and I don't exactly know what we're going to do next week. If I look at it and there's a bunch of stuff to talk about before Christmas, we'll go ahead and put something out there. If not, we may just take the week off as Thursday is Christmas Eve, and we're probably going to be pretty busy around the house and doing stuff. So we will just have to wait and see. If there is a podcast, it'll probably be either Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't anticipate it would come out on a normal Thursday release window. Well, neither did this one. So you're getting this one a little bit early the night before, and hopefully you have enjoyed it. Don't forget, give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, and if you enjoy what you listen to here and what we do on YouTube, consider giving us financial support, either directly through the Anchor app, which is a link down below, or there's also a link to our Patreon page. You can do either, or you can do both if you are just in the giving spirit. My name is James Fisher. Thank you so much, as always, for listening, and we'll see you guys, if not next week, the week after, and definitely have a Merry Christmas if I don't get to talk to you before then. And one more thing, get back out there and level up.